in Magnus sights as I continue to ban a whole lot of people on my Thor Love and Thunder trailer reaction. I'm being attacked because they think that I called the trailer woke. I didn't say that the trailer was woke. I said I'm tired of woke shit, and I hope that the movie is not woke. That's what I said. People must listen to a couple of words you say, pause it, and then start typing. Anyway, I'm on to some more good entertainment here. We got the Cosmic Wonder, and the Cosmic Wonder has put out a breakdown of the Thor trailer. I was waiting for this. I ain't expecting to get it out this fast. Let's get it, Wonder.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome
What's
back
up?
to Cosmic Wonder. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and we just got our very first teaser trailer for Thor Love and Thunder, and it did not disappoint. It was awesome. We got our first look at Ravager Thor with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and our first look at the mighty Thor Jane Foster. Now, there's a lot happening in this trailer. They introduce other gods like Zeus, and Gorr the God Butcher is not in this trailer, which is interesting because there's a rumor going around that perhaps Gorr the God Butcher could actually make his first appearance in Moon Knight. We know Moon Knight has introduced gods, and we know that Gorr the God Butcher, well, he's the God Butcher. He goes around killing gods. So, could they perhaps be saving that first look for Moon Knight? We're going to talk about everything and break down this trailer. So, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. Let's dive into it. So, right off the bat, like I mentioned, there are some rumors that have been going around that states maybe Gorr the God Butcher could be appearing in one of the episodes of Moon Knight. Now, I have seen episodes 1 through 4, and I have not seen Gorr the God Butcher yet, but he could appear in episodes 5 or 6. After all, he is called Gorr the God Butcher for a reason. He goes around and he starts killing gods. Now, if you're not familiar with who Gorr the God Butcher is, he is going to be the main villain of Thor Love and Thunder, and he is going to be played by Christian Bale. Now, here's a brief backstory on why Gorr the God Butcher wants to kill all of the gods. Gorr was born on a planet with no names where he was taught to worship the gods. However, his life was filled with tragedy. He had a wife and a bunch of kids, but sadly his wife died and all of his children died as well. And right before his last son died, he prayed and begged the gods to give him help. But his son ended up dying, and he started to express that he didn't believe that the gods were real. And this led to him being exiled by his people. However, while wandering in the desert waiting to die himself, he witnessed two gods fighting. One of the gods was the Dark Elder god Null, the symbiote god, and the other was a gold-armored, purpled skin god. The gods fell to the floor, and Gorr went up to them, shocked to believe that the gods actually existed. The gold-armored god begged him for help. However, as he was begging him, the Dark Elder god's sword turned into an amorphous mass, and it bonded to him, and he created the all-black Necro Sword. And he used this to kill the god. And from here on out, he was just furious that the gods actually did exist, but they didn't come to his aid. So, from here on out, he set out to kill gods. Now, in this trailer, it actually looks like we see a lot of gods, as we see Olympus in this trailer and Zeus. And I'm assuming this is where Gorr the God Butcher is planning to strike.
I gotta watch
they're all going to be in a lot of trouble, but we'll get into that in a bit. Now, Thor Love and Thunder, of course, takes place after the events of Avengers Endgame, where Thor left with the Guardians of the Galaxy, leaving New Asgard to Valkyrie, who we see in this trailer is now the king of Asgard. But the trailer starts off with Thor kind of running through different phases in life. It shows him as a little kid, it then shows him as a young adult, in which we actually see the classic Thor comic costume right here. He then ages up a couple of more times until we get to where he is right now, where he says that his hands were once used for battle.
It looks like somebody else running. Doesn't look like Chris.
For peace. We see him plant Stormbreaker into the ground, which is interesting because we know that the handle for Stormbreaker was made from Groot's arm. So the fact that he's planting it into the ground kind of like a tree implies that the handle might actually kind of be alive still. Either that or Thor is just kind of getting a little bit more grounded now. We see him meditating on a distant planet, contemplating who exactly he is and who he wants to be in life, as we hear him say, I need to figure out exactly who I am. Now we cut to the Marvel
His eyes are back.
Logo, and then we see Thor getting in shape, because when we left him in Avengers Endgame, he was still very much bro Thor. And if you take a look at the hat that he's wearing, you can see the classic Avengers logo. And over the top of it, he wrote Strongest, to where the hat reads, The Strongest Avenger. This is a callback to Thor Ragnarok, where him and the Hulk fought over who the strongest Avenger was. Where Thor, of course, claimed that he was the strongest Avenger, but Hulk said that he was. Also notice the skeleton on the right, which seems to be from a really, really big being that Thor might have defeated in the past, which could be how Thor knew that he would be there, and the chains would be there as well. Now in the next scene, we see Thor show off his new/old body, because that's how he's always looked, as he takes off a coat revealing a new look. Now, we know that this look is going to be called Ravager Thor. The Ravengers, of course, being the group that Peter Quill was a part of, in which they would all wear red leather jackets. And as we can see here, Thor is wearing a red leather jacket, but he ripped the sleeves off. And this is a look taken directly from the comic Thor Thunderstrike. He's even wearing the same boots. Now we see him with the Guardians of the Galaxy, because of course he left with them, and some blue creatures in the back. Now these could be the Entidites from the comics, and it does look like the Guardians are actually helping protect them. If you notice in the scene where Thor takes off his jacket and stands on top of the rock, below him we can actually see Quill hiding behind the rock. We can see Nebula in the background, and behind her we can actually see one of these people is dead. Now the next scene shows the Guardians of the Galaxy running towards a battle, and Thor turns away. Now in the next scene, since he says his superhero days are over, I'm assuming this right here is Thor not wanting to really battle anymore. So he chooses to not join this fight, at least as the same Thor that he has always been, because this is clearly the same scene where he rips off the coat and reveals Ravager Thor. So I'm expecting him to walk away, change into a Ravager, and then join the battle. Because when he says goodbye to the Guardians of the Galaxy in the next scene, we can see that he's still wearing the Ravager clothes. The Guardians take off and go through a hex point, which we've seen them do in the Guardians films. That allows them to go to essentially any place in the galaxy they want to. And we also see the awesome Korg. He's back protecting Thor.
Oh my god, I didn't even see him!
Piss off, Ghost! He's freaking gone.
And as you can see, he is dressed as a Ravager as well. But Thor and Korg leave the Guardians.
I didn't fucking
now the next
see
scene
him.
shows New Asgard. And the first thing that we notice is a boat being pulled over the water, not in the water, over the water, by two goats. These goats are Thor's mystical goats, Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder. In the comics, they pull Thor's chariot, and they can take him through different parts of the galaxy and even into different dimensions. Now in this scene, it kind of looks like they're pulling a party boat. As the boat goes by, you can see a sign that says cocktail on it, which implies that this is pretty much a party boat. But on the boat, you can catch a quick peek of Valkyrie and Korg. Now the next scene is of Olympus, but we'll come back to that in just a bit. Because the scenes after this, we actually see Thor in New Asgard. He seems to be having a pretty good time as we see him kiss a girl. We then see him on a boat floating through space. Now Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder probably pulled him into space, but in the next scene we see him using Stormbreaker to open the Bifrost portal, which we know he can do, as they explained that he could in Avengers Infinity War. Here we also get a new look at Thor's brand new suit. We can see that
that's how I
it's
got
very
there
much gold
anyway.
and blue now. Kind of
In
closer
Infinity
to a
War,
comic
on the
accurate
battlefield,
version.
right?
Now, in the next scene, we see Olympus, and going back to the scene that we saw before, that is also Olympus. Now, of course, many people know Olympus from Greek mythology, but in the MCU, Olympus is its own realm that exists outside of Earth. It's pretty much almost exactly like Asgard, except it is home to different gods. And here we actually see Zeus, and we actually see him catch a lightning bolt, which is pretty dang cool. Now, although we only see the back of him, we do know that Zeus is going to be played by Russell Crowe. The next scene we have is Thor and Korg looking at a giant beast covered in snow. Of course, it's dead, and this is taken directly from the comics. The comic Thor, God of Thunder. Now from here we get another look at Asgard. And we can see that it's pretty much at this point a tourist attraction. And that makes sense. If Thor appeared in real life on our planet, a lot of people would probably want to go and see a real life god. If you look in the background, especially on the right, you can see some golden buildings, which is very similar to the old Asgard where they used to live, but you can also see a bunch of cruise ships in the background as well, showing us that Asgard really is a tourist location, which kind of makes sense because they're going to have to make money some way. They didn't really have to worry about money on the old Asgard, but on Earth, it looks like they do. Now then they show Valkyrie, who again is the king of Asgard right now, in an earthly meeting that you can tell she just clearly does not enjoy. If you take a look at the sign on the right, we can see that it actually says Renewable Energy Conference. And this is probably pretty funny / boring for Valkyrie, as she comes from Asgard, a magical realm, where energy probably isn't a problem. But you can tell that she really doesn't like dealing with the politics of Earth. Now from here we get another scene of Olympus, and we can see a giant statue of Zeus in the background, holding a lightning bolt. And if you take a close look at the bottom, we can actually see Jane Foster's the Mighty Thor walking side by side next to Thor. Notice the two long red capes. This is Thor, and to his right is Jane Foster's the Mighty Thor. We also see Valkyrie and Korg there as well. Now, as these scenes play, we hear Peter Quill's voice talking to Thor, most likely giving him advice before the Guardians take off and leave Thor and Korg. And he says, if you ever feel lost, just look into the eyes of the people that you love. As he says this, Quill is looking past Thor to his team, the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's also kind of sad because, as we know, Gamora is no longer there. There is a version of Gamora that is out there, however, it is not the one that he fell in love with. We do know that this story is definitely going to be explored in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Here we also get a little bit of a taste of what the comedy is going to be like in Thor Love and Thunder. If it's anything like Thor Ragnarok, it's going to be hilarious, and the scene shows us that. Quill says, look into the eyes of the people you love, and he looks past Thor, but Thor is looking directly into his eyes and kind of interrupts his gaze. We see Star-Lord slowly start moving his head, trying to look past Thor, but Thor keeps moving his head to get in the way, trying to look into Peter Quill's eyes, implying that he's come to love him. But of course, in a good comedic moment, Peter Quill says, not me, and Thor says, oh, I was just trying to listen. And speaking of love, the very last scene that we get is our very first look at Jane Foster's the Mighty Thor, wielding a mended Mjolnir. Now this is going to be coming from the Mighty Thor comic line, where Jane Foster does become the Mighty Thor. Now in this comic line, she also has cancer, and every time she transforms,
as hard as I try to
Thor,
see Natalie Portman's
and Taika
face
Waititi has
under that
confirmed
mask,
this
it
is
doesn't
a
look like
storyline
her to
that they
me.
will be exploring in this movie. But one thing that is for sure and is really awesome is that the Mighty Thor, Jane Foster, is worthy to lift Mjolnir. And Natalie Portman looks like she gained some weight to play this role. She's looking pretty buff there, and I'm really digging her as the Mighty Thor. And that is our first teaser trailer. We did not get a look at Gorr, but we did get a look at the Mighty Thor, Jane Foster. We did get a look at Zeus, kinda from behind, but a great look at Olympus. And of course, a lot of great shots of Thor, Ravager Thor, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Let me know what you think about this trailer in the comments down below. And if you spotted any really cool Easter eggs, be sure to put those in the comments as well. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel videos. For live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.
Thank you very much there, Cosmic Wonder. That rhymed. I need to play it again. Bars. I want to know how the guy's eye back. And so now they're introducing other gods into the MCU. We already got Egyptian gods with Moon Knight. So, okay, so we're getting some more gods. Wish Loki was in it. Maybe he will be. Never know. That's it. Hey, just hope it ain't woke. As long as it ain't woke, I'm going to be a happy camper. Well, I still might not be a happy camper. I mean, it's got to be a good movie. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be good and unwoke. There we go. Then I'll be a happy camper. Post comments down below. Let me know what you all think. If you enjoyed my reaction to this, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Woo!